Hi, thanks so much for stopping by my channel. This is Anna's Aqua Home, where I love to sew, craft, and DIY. I love making handmade items for my home and also to give away as gifts. Today I'm going to be working on something, a little girl's shirt. I just picked up this plain black t-shirt and I saw this idea on Pinterest and I thought I wanted to give it a try. So I want to cover the shirt in butterflies, but not just like applique butterflies, but 3D butterflies is what I'm thinking. And I saw this done using tulle. So I have an aqua tulle, although I will say by the time you pull it out, you really can't tell the color, but I think it'll still show up nicely on the black. So I'm going to see how it goes. If this is a complete flop, you can know what to do to avoid this. I saw this with tulle, but also with felt, but I was afraid that the felt wouldn't hold up with multiple washings and that it would get like kind of bent out of shape because if you do stretch felt, it is kind of stretchy and it doesn't bounce back. So I'm going to go ahead and do this with the tulle. So I have my shirt. So I've got my shirt, my pin cushions, my tulle, and then I'm gonna need a matching thread because you sew over it and then you're gonna sew like the little antenna of this. So that's what I'm thinking. So I do have this aqua thread that I think is going to turn out very nicely. So let me go ahead and move you over so that you can see kind of what I'm doing and I'll walk you through the steps. Okay, hopefully you can see the tulle enough. I'm probably gonna move this over so you can see it a little bit better as I'm getting it ready. Probably maybe like a hot pink or a bright yellow or something would work a little bit better. But I am just going to do layers and layers of this. A couple layers. I'm going to stick with that. So here we go. I'm going to cut this off. It doesn't have to be exact because we're going to trim it up. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Here's my butterfly shape. And then we're just going to go ahead and trim the edges to be more of that shape. I know they're not exactly the same size. So now that we got all that, here's my plan. We've got our rough shapes looking over here, and I'm hoping that by the time you scrunch it up, there we go, and sew over it, it's gonna look like a little butterfly, and I think that is going to look really, really cute. Okay, so let me go ahead and put that aside, and I'm gonna cut a few more, maybe like different sizes. We'll just see. And then if we like that, oh, I think that's going to be really, really cute. I'm going to try to fold it, and that way when I cut my shape, it'll be a little bit more symmetrical, is my thought. Yeah, I like how that turned out. Kind of making a mess on my shirt, but that will all come out. So by the time you scrunch it all together, that one may be a little bit big, but that'll just be the biggest that I have. All right, here is my shirt, and I think I'm gonna want my things primarily right here. So I'm gonna start with the biggest one. Try to scrunch it down a little bit. I think I'm gonna put that right here. And then I'm only pinning through one layer, or I only want to pin through one layer. So let me go ahead and just roughly place that here so that I can kind of tell. So once that gets scrunched down, then maybe my other one right here. I know it looks really messy, but once I start sewing, it'll be easier to see the butterfly shape. All right, and then maybe a little one right here. And then a little one right here, down here. All right. I think I'm going to start on this big one first. If you want, you can pull that off, and that way this can slide in a little bit. All right, this one's right here, so we're going to start with this one. Actually, let's go ahead and start with the biggest one. All right, so now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and layer these all together. All right, and I'm starting at the back. So this is where the little antenna will be up here. So let's go ahead and move this up just a little bit. All right, and then I'm going to start sewing. And then now that I've started, I'm going to start scrunching. Sew down a little bit. All right, and then scrunch a little more. All right, and now we're at the end, so we're going to turn a little bit to the left and make antenna, and I'm just going to go over it a couple times and then turn the other way. Sew that, and then pull it off. Oh, I think that looks so cute. So here's the little antenna and the 3D butterfly. And actually, because this is so big, I may end up trimming it down a little bit. We'll see. But so far, I really like how that looks. It is so cute. All right, I'm going to keep going and do the next one. And finally, the little baby one, but my thread came out. Just sew that back up. All right, here it is. I think they look like butterflies. Now, I have seen someone put like little eyes, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. But here they are, little 3D butterflies. I feel like I could definitely get better the more that I do it. I could space this one out a little bit over, but overall, for my first time doing these little 3D butterflies, I think it turned out really cute. I think the aqua is a little too subtle. It just doesn't show enough color. Believe it or not, aqua is not the best for this. So definitely, I think if I did again, I would try some other colors. But I just really like this. I would wash this inside out, and I think this would last a really long time. But let me know in the comments what you think. Is a little girl going to enjoy her little butterfly 3D shirt? And what would you do differently to maybe make it a little bit better? Definitely the color of the shirt and the tulle, but this is what I had on hand, so I definitely wanted to try something. I really like how it turned out. So thanks for watching, and stop back next time for my next project.